The latest news surrounding Manchester City is stirring the backstage of European football. The club, which in recent years has grown accustomed to dominating the Premier League and contending for continental titles, is experiencing a period of deep redefinition in its squad and strategy. The decisions made over the coming months may determine not only the immediate future of the citizens, but also the direction of the entire structure that Pep Guardiola has built since his arrival in Manchester. And the first point of this transformation involves the name of a Croatian midfielder who, even at 31, still attracts the interest of Europe's giants. According to reports from Italy, Milan are preparing an ambitious move for 2026. Their target is Mateo Kovacic, the Manchester City player who is entering a decisive phase of his contract with the English club. With only 2 years remaining on his deal, the Italian side believes they can take advantage of the moment to begin early negotiations, especially given the desire of Milan's coach and the direct influence of Luka Modric, who sees Kovacic as the natural heir to his legacy within Croatian and European football. Kovacic, who recently returned to the pitch after Achilles tendon surgery, had been sidelined for nearly 5 months. His comeback, coming off the bench in the 2-0 win over Everton, was met with relief by the coaching staff, who regard him as essential to maintaining tactical balance in midfield. Since his arrival at City in 2023, following his stint at Chelsea, the Croatian has earned respect and a regular place in the team, helping secure a 4th consecutive Premier League title. His experience at clubs such as Real Madrid and Chelsea has enhanced the team's level of control and composure in the center of the park. However, last season was one of the most challenging in Guardiola's era. A serious injury to Rodri in September 2024 forced Pep to completely redesign his tactical structure. Without his usual defensive anchor, the coach turned to Kovacic, who had to adapt to a deeper role, sharing responsibilities with Ilkay Gundogan and newcomer Nico Gonzalez. Despite the collective effort, City finished the Premier League in 3rd place, a result considered below the club's usual standards in recent years. During the European summer, new sporting director Hugo Vana led a significant overhaul of the squad. Several veterans left, new talents arrived, and some key names were retained at Guardiola's insistence, among them Kovacic. The Catalan manager still considers him vital, not only for his on-field contribution, but also for the quiet leadership and maturity he provides under pressure. Still, doubts remain about whether the club will offer a contract extension beyond 2027, a decision that could determine the player's future in the coming months. Milan, meanwhile, are monitoring the situation closely. The Italian club are reportedly willing to spend around $10 million to sign Kovacic, believing he could be the ideal successor to Modric, who, at 40, is approaching the end of his career. Sources close to San Siro suggest that this potential transfer is seen as strategic, both sportingly and symbolically, a passing of the torch between 2 generations of Croatian football. From the English side, there is still no official stance. Guardiola wants to assess Kovacic's physical condition and performance over the season before approving any talks. Meanwhile, another name is drawing attention at the Etihad Stadium, Nico Gonzalez. The young Spaniard, just 23 years old, has been one of Manchester City's standouts this season. His rapid adaptation to English football has even surprised Pep Guardiola, who made a point of publicly praising the player. Nico was signed from Porto for $50 million and has since established himself as a key component of the squad rotation. After a failed attempt to leave the club in the last transfer window, the midfielder seems to have rediscovered his motivation. He has shone in important matches such as the Champions League win over Villarreal and the Premier League victory against Everton. In Rodri's prolonged absence, Gonzalez took center stage in midfield, showing a rare combination of maturity and creativity. Guardiola was emphatic when discussing the matter. According to the coach, Nico is a player with a competitive spirit, easy to guide, and completely integrated into the system. Even amid rumors that the Spaniard was seeking more minutes and considering a move, he chose to stay, and that decision now appears wise. The coach views him as a strategic piece in the squad's rebuild, especially in this transitional season following the departure of several long-serving figures. This transition, led by Hugo Vana, marks a new era at Manchester City. After a disappointing 2024-25 campaign, which ended with the team out of title contention and an early Champions League exit, the club adopted a more aggressive approach in the transfer market. The squad was reduced in size, 7 new signings were made, and the focus shifted to versatility and youth. Nico Gonzalez fits perfectly into this philosophy, representing the balance between technical skill and tactical discipline. But Guardiola's reconstruction plan does not stop there. The club are also scouting new talents outside Europe, and one name in particular is attracting growing interest: Ian Subiabre, a forward from River Plate. At 20, the Argentine is regarded as one of South America's brightest prospects. His explosive performances, speed, and precision in the final third have caught the attention of several clubs, including Manchester City, Liverpool, Atletico Madrid, and Juventus. According to TBR Football, City are closely monitoring the young player's progress, seeing him as a potential replacement for Julian Alvarez, who recently left the club. The strong relationship between City and River Plate, built through past negotiations for Alvarez and Claudio Echeverri, could prove an important advantage in discussions. Guardiola recognizes that the squad needs more attacking options, particularly given the inconsistency of his current wingers and the heavy reliance on Erling Haaland. The 2025-26 season began with unexpected setbacks, including defeats to Tottenham and Brighton, leaving City in an uncomfortable position in the table. However, Haaland's goals have reignited the team's competitive edge, and the search for reinforcements continues. Subiabre stands out as a key piece for the future, someone capable of providing pace, dribbling, and intensity in attack, qualities that Guardiola highly values. The club also face a delicate situation in goal. Following Ederson's departure, Manchester City signed Gianluigi Donnarumma, altering the hierarchy in the position. James Trafford, the 22-year-old English goalkeeper, started the season as first choice, but soon lost his place to the Italian. This has sparked speculation about a possible transfer or loan, with clubs such as Southampton, Leicester, and Burnley showing interest. Nevertheless, City are taking a patient approach. According to journalist Dean Jones, the club have no intention of negotiating Trafford's exit at this stage. Pep Guardiola believes it is crucial to maintain 2 top-level goalkeepers to ensure stability and competition. Trafford will continue to feature in cup games and rotational fixtures, with his situation set to be reviewed only in December. The coach himself highlighted that Trafford's composure and technical quality, particularly in distribution and tactical awareness, make him a valuable long-term asset. Even without being the undisputed starter, he is considered an essential part of the team's new structure. These movements, combined with the pursuit of balance and rejuvenation within the squad, show that Manchester City are in the midst of a strategic transition. Guardiola, long accustomed to reinventing his teams, appears determined to turn this period of uncertainty into a new phase of dominance. The club maintain ambition, focus, and meticulous planning, betting on a blend of proven experience and emerging talent. Behind the scenes at Manchester City, the figure of Hugo Vana is beginning to gain strength as one of the main architects of the club's new identity. Since taking on the role of sporting director, he has been leading a meticulous reconstruction process, focusing not only on signings, but also on the tactical and philosophical structure underpinning Guardiola's project. The relationship between the two is one of technical harmony and strategic rationality. While Pep defines the playing style and tactical evolution, Vana works behind the scenes to ensure every piece fits precisely and sustainably into the system. One of the most significant changes introduced by Vana has been the prioritization of under-25 players with high development potential and a mental profile suited to City's high-pressure environment. He understands that after years of glory, the club needed an injection of energy and ambition, something only young players hungry for success can bring. This approach also aligns with the team's natural cycle. The idols who built City's golden era are gradually saying their goodbyes. The departures of figures such as Kevin De Bruyne and Kyle Walker symbolize the end of one chapter and the beginning of another. In the corridors of the Etihad, people speak of conscious renewal, a concept that contrasts with abrupt revolutions. Guardiola has always defended the idea that generational transitions should be gradual, allowing the team to preserve its identity without losing competitiveness. That is why players like Kovacic, despite their veteran status, continue to be treated as pillars of stability. While the Croatian represents balance and experience, youngsters such as Nico Gonzalez and Ian Subiabre embody the new energy the club aims to consolidate. Internally, Pep has been working intensely to integrate the new signings into City's positional system, a model that demands tactical discipline and exceptional game intelligence. The manager understands that without Rodri at full fitness, the midfield structure must be adjusted. As a result, Nico has been trained to play either as a holding midfielder or as a creative interior, depending on the match situation. The Spaniard has responded maturely, showing not only technical quality but also positional intelligence that has impressed even the most demanding analysts. During training in Manchester, it is common to see Guardiola and his staff stopping drills to correct the positioning of young players. Pep's attention to detail remains his trademark. He knows that any deviation, no matter how small, can cost precious points in such a competitive league. The intensity, however, is balanced by careful emotional management. Pep seeks to build a close relationship with every player, ensuring all understand the collective purpose. This philosophy is particularly crucial in times of instability, such as the present. After years of absolute dominance, Manchester City finds itself in a stage of redefinition. External pressure remains high, but Guardiola views the situation as an opportunity to evolve once again. He believes adversity forces the team to reinvent itself, something he considers essential to avoid stagnation. The coach has done this before, at both Barcelona and Bayern, and appears determined to repeat the process in Manchester. While the sporting structure adapts, the board is also moving to ensure stability off the pitch. The relationship with the City Football Group, which manages several clubs worldwide, remains solid and strategic. Connections with South American football continue to be explored. The interest in Ian Subiabre is not isolated. He is part of a list of talents closely monitored by the group's scouts, including promising youngsters from Brazil, Argentina, and Uruguay. The idea is to create a continuous flow of talent between South America and Europe, replicating the success achieved with Julian Alvarez. Subiabre, according to sources close to River Plate, has the ideal profile for Guardiola's style: explosive, technical, disciplined, and with strong decision-making ability. The player has stood out not only for his pace, but also for his tactical maturity, unusual for his age. Should City complete the deal, they may secure another impactful name for the future. Meanwhile, the defensive sector is also under reassessment. The loss of Kyle Walker has left a sensitive gap on the right side, and the board is already studying alternatives in the European market. Young fullbacks from France and Spain are being monitored, but Guardiola has been testing internal solutions before investing again. The squad's tactical versatility allows for creative adaptations, something the manager handles masterfully. A clear example of this was Rico Lewis's use as an inverted fullback during part of last season. The young Englishman became one of the team's surprises, gaining confidence and space through solid performances. For Pep, developing homegrown talents is just as important as signing ready-made stars. He sees this as a sign of structural evolution. City finally being able to produce and integrate players capable of competing at a high level within their own system. Behind the scenes, the atmosphere at the Etihad is described as one of total focus. The pressure for immediate results exists, but there is collective awareness that the current transition is unavoidable. The board has full confidence in Guardiola and the methodology that has brought him near total success. City's sporting project has always been designed for the long term, and that includes periods of controlled reconstruction. The main question mark now revolves around the Champions League. After alternating triumphs and disappointments, the European tournament remains the great benchmark of the Guardiola era. He knows the 2025-26 season will be a watershed moment. More than titles, what is at stake is City's ability to prove it can reinvent itself without losing its essence. The challenge is to maintain the same efficiency with a squad that, though talented, is still in formation. The pursuit of balance is the major theme of the season. Pep wants a team that attacks with intensity, but also knows how to endure pressure without losing structure. He seeks speed in transitions while preserving their trademark ball possession. This balance depends on players like Kovacic, who provides security and experience, and Nico, who represents vigor and creativity. If both complement each other successfully, City's midfield could once again become a dominant force. James Trafford, meanwhile, is living the most challenging moment of his career. Competition with Donnarumma forces him to evolve constantly. Behind the scenes, there is confidence that he can become England's future first-choice goalkeeper. City's patience with the young keeper is a conscious bet. Guardiola believes that, with time, he will develop the emotional control and game awareness that define the great goalkeepers of modern football. The manager insists that no player should be judged solely by the present. For him, true value lies in the potential for growth within the collective system. This mentality explains why City rarely acts impulsively in the market. Every signing results from months of observation and detailed analysis, both technical and psychological. The club seeks players who understand what it means to play under Guardiola, something far beyond individual talent. Through this approach, Manchester City continues to consolidate a unique philosophy based on patience, discipline, and the relentless pursuit of improvement. It is a silent but strategic transition designed to ensure not only immediate success, but also the longevity of the project. Guardiola knows he is laying the groundwork for the future, a future that, if current coherence is maintained, could bring about a new era of glory. As Manchester City moves into the heart of the season, the atmosphere within the club is one of expectation and controlled tension. The reconstruction led by Guardiola and Hugo Vana is beginning to show practical results, but the demand for consistency remains relentless. The fans, accustomed to almost flawless campaigns, watch this new phase of the team with curiosity and a hint of apprehension. The side still bears the weight of being favorites, but now with a very different, younger, and more unpredictable composition. Pep Guardiola, aware of the ongoing changes, has adopted a more reflective stance in interviews and internal discussions. He acknowledges that the current version of Manchester City is still a work in progress and that a few setbacks are an inevitable part of the process. In private, however, his standards remain sky-high. For him, City cannot simply compete. It must continue to dictate the tempo of European football. The difference now is that to achieve that, the machinery sustaining the previous dominance must be reinvented. This reinvention involves redefining roles and giving room for new leaders to emerge. Without De Bruyne and Walker, the squad's natural hierarchy has been disrupted. Players such as Haaland, Diaz, and Bernardo Silva have been called upon to take on more vocal leadership roles in the dressing room. Guardiola understands that lasting success depends on a strong core within the group, capable of demanding more and inspiring their teammates. The quiet figure of Kovacic has also become significant in this regard. The Croatian, discreet off the pitch, is respected for his seriousness and professionalism. His attitude serves as an example to younger players, especially Nico Gonzalez, who sees him as a model of discipline and tactical awareness. Nico's development, in fact, has become one of the cornerstones of the new City. He represents the bridge between the team's past and future. His ability to interpret movements, adapt to Pep's tactical demands, and remain composed in decisive matches impresses even the squad's veterans. Once Rodri fully returns, his partnership with Nico promises to be one of the strongest midfield duos in English football. That connection could restore the absolute control of the midfield that once defined City's most dominant seasons. Meanwhile, the club remains alert in the transfer market. The pursuit of Ian Subiabre is not just an attempt to reinforce the attack, but part of a long-term strategy. Should the Argentine be signed, he would be gradually developed to take on attacking responsibilities without the immediate pressure of stardom. Guardiola and Vana see in him the profile of a player who fits the City mold: intense, collective, and willing to grow under constant guidance. The close relationship with River Plate should facilitate negotiations, and the plan is to invest early to avoid fierce competition from other European giants. But Guardiola knows that signing talent is not enough. They must also understand the club's philosophy. The manager maintains the same rigor that made him famous. Every training session is treated as a lesson, every detail dissected. His pursuit of perfection, at times exhausting, is what sets City apart from other wealthy projects. The squad itself understands this. Even the younger players already realize that playing under Pep is both a privilege and a constant mental challenge. Behind the scenes, there are reports that the coach has been dedicating extra time to one-on-one conversations with players, particularly with newcomers. He believes that the team's success depends on the emotional stability and clarity of purpose of each individual. This human approach, combined with technical demands, creates the environment that keeps City competitive season after season. Another piece of the puzzle is James Trafford. The competition with Donnarumma, though challenging, is being used by Guardiola as a character test. The coach wants to see how far the young Englishman can handle pressure while staying focused. This philosophy is not new. Pep has always believed that a player's growth comes through adversity. If Trafford responds positively, he could become one of the most complete goalkeepers developed under his management. Off the pitch, Manchester City is also working to strengthen its global image. The club aims to expand its commercial reach and solidify its presence in strategic markets such as Asia and Latin America. The partnerships with River Plate and other City Group clubs are part of this vision. The goal is to transform City not only into a sporting powerhouse, but into a global brand with a solid identity and a diverse fan base. Although Guardiola does not take part directly in commercial decisions, he understands the importance of expansion. He knows that financial and sporting success go hand in modern football. The stability provided by sound management is what allows the freedom to build long-term projects, and that is what City seeks to preserve. On the pitch, the immediate focus is regaining consistency. The defeats to Tottenham and Brighton served as a warning. Guardiola responded with subtle tactical adjustments, reinforcing the defensive structure and encouraging a more vertical passing approach. The result was a notable improvement in performance in the following weeks, with Haaland resuming his role as a relentless goalscorer. Still, the manager insists that the team must learn to win in different ways, adapting to each opponent and context. In training, intensity remains at its peak. The coaching staff monitor each player through performance data, analyzing metrics such as passing volume, distance covered, and accelerations in pressing zones. Guardiola uses this information to adjust the game plan almost surgically. This scientific approach is part of modern City's DNA. Nothing is left to chance, and every decision is backed by evidence. At the same time, Pep keeps alive the creative essence that defined him. He allows players the freedom to interpret situations on the pitch, provided they stay within the established tactical principles. This balance between structure and improvisation is what makes City so difficult to face. It is a team that looks mechanical in precision, yet human in flow. The Catalan coach is also concerned with the squad's physical rhythm. After long seasons of success and accumulated fatigue, the medical staff have implemented stricter recovery and rotation protocols. The goal is to prevent injuries that could compromise collective performance, as happened with Rodri last season. Guardiola has learned through frustration that energy management is as crucial as tactical preparation. Behind the scenes, Hugo Vana's presence has been crucial in balancing the sporting and administrative sides. He acts as a bridge between Guardiola, the board, and the players, mediating negotiations and delicate decisions. This harmony between departments ensures the project's stability. While other clubs experience turbulence and frequent changes in leadership, City maintains a coherent line based on planning and patience. The fans, in turn, recognize this effort. Even with the absence of some historical stars, there is a sense of continuity and trust. Supporters understand that City is not in decline, but in transformation. The expectation is that once the new structure is consolidated, the club will return to dominating the Premier League and competing on equal terms with Europe's biggest powers. This transition also reignites a recurring question. How long will Guardiola remain in charge? Although his contract still has time left, speculation about his future always lingers. He, however, avoids discussing farewells. In interviews, he limits himself to saying that there is still work to be done. And indeed, there is. The City he dreams of building is far from being just a winning team. It is a model of efficiency and harmony capable of sustaining success for years, even after his eventual departure. In this context, every match takes on symbolic value. It is not only about winning, but about shaping the club's new identity. Manchester City, under Pep Guardiola and Hugo Vana, is living through a quiet metamorphosis in which every decision carries future implications. The eyes of Europe are watching closely, and so, amid restructures, new promises, and the relentless pursuit of perfection, Manchester City continues to write another chapter of its history. The club is in transition, but with the same ambition as always: to win with style, dominate with intelligence, and prove that it remains the ultimate reference in modern football. Under the command of Pep Guardiola and the management of Hugo Vana, the project renews itself without losing its essence, balancing youth and experience, strategy and emotion. The coming weeks will be decisive. The performances of Nico Gonzalez, the potential move for Ian Subiabre, and the decisions regarding Kovacic could reshape the club's immediate future. Every detail matters. On and off the pitch, City remains a living organism in constant evolution, ready once again to challenge the limits of European football. If you have followed this far, it's because you truly live and breathe Manchester City. So don't forget, leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and activate notifications so you don't miss any updates about the blue team from Manchester. Your support is essential for our community to keep growing and bringing you all the information, analysis, and behind-the-scenes stories of the citizens. Until next time.